Yeehaw! It's time for the Texans Squad, sponsored by Gametime. Everything Houston Texans, every week. Bringing you the big hits, game-changing plays, and all the action straight from the Lone Star State. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Saddle up and squad up. It's the Texans Squad Show, starting now.
And finally, the preseason is over for the Houston Texans, and it ends in a victory on a very important day where we saw some of the greatest QB play you might ever see in preseason football. We're going to break it all down over the next hour here on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. That is Wade Smith next to me, Stan Norfleet below me, John Hickman down in the other corner. I am Michael Connor. We're with you, breaking it all down every single week right here on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. Today's episode of this show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So, guys, let's just start by peeling the curtain back real quick for our viewers and listeners out there that are either watching live or listening later on in the podcast, whichever way you get it, which, by the way, you can get it anywhere that you get your podcast for free. Search Locked On Texans. You also get John's daily show, which is fantastic. You need to be checking that out. You guys were bringing the energy before we started. I just said we just got to go. We got to go. The preseason, a third preseason game. I'm going to put in one corner Wade Smith. I'm going to put in another corner Stan Norfleet. One of them thinks that this is a good thing to watch football in a preseason. Now, I'm saying it's always a good thing to watch a preseason football game, but one believes in the preseason game more than the other. And right here, right now, with John Hickman interjecting, because I'm not sure which side he's going to end up on completely, where are we standing on the importance of today, gentlemen? Wade, you will begin.
Kick it off. I'm going to kick it off with the false premise, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the way MC tossed that up wasn't actually what went down, but I'm going to take this side of
Don't tell him.
the last preseason game of every NFL season, you're going to find some players on that field that make plays that eventually are going to help you that year. And they're going to help that team or another team in the future win big ball games and have successful careers. So it's always good to see those type of guys get an opportunity to play that last preseason game. Like, there's probably maybe 5 to 8 guys that are really going to help this Texans team this year that you saw play in this game today. But there's probably 10 to 12 guys that between the two teams, like I'm looking at number 15 for Detroit, hoping that he gets cut because I'd love to have him here in Houston for what he did to do with the long hair, U of H cat. Like I would, there's guys that you see that stand out like that in those last preseason games. And what I told Stan before the show started was I was the captain of the last preseason game twice in my career. I think one time with New York Jets, either once or twice, and then once with the Kansas City Chiefs. And you know, at that time, I was the 6th or 7th offensive lineman. But eventually, I became a Pro Bowler offensive lineman with the Houston Texans. So there's guys that get opportunities to play in those games and show leadership. And those, I think it was Damian Pierce this game that was that quote-unquote captain that brought everybody up before the game I saw. Those guys get opportunities to play, and you see something out of them. So it's good to see. Is it the most exciting thing? No. But is it something to denigrate? Is it something to frown upon? I think not.
Stan?
This is so funny, by the way. This is like when you and your friend get into it, and your grandmother gotta sit you down and apologize to one another. You gotta straight the point. Why you did so? Wade kicked it off. Stan, now why are you mad? Tell us why you was mad today.
It's like when your mother got to bring you and your first cousin, and y'all got to
sit down.
Plug it out. Okay, I don't dispute anything that Wade just said, in all seriousness. Development of a program matters. I just think, given where the Texans are and the expectations for the 2025 season of having Super Bowl aspirations, the overwhelming majority of the guys that played today will not be helping the Texans do that. I think that the coaches will tell you that today's tape is another data point in breaking down the roster. As someone that has been inside of some of those meetings where they don't tell Wade the truth, guys like Wade, they lie to him. Then they get in the conference room with guys like me, and they tell us the truth. That dude wasn't making the damn team today if he had 3 touchdowns. He's off the roster. The majority of the roster, the hay is in the barn, as they say. So there are some performances that we can say, okay, that was a positive performance relative context and nuance in life matters relative to the competition that was out there today. A guy like Woody Marks had a good day. Now, John is going to try and sell us later on that somehow Woody Marks is going to impact whether or not this team goes to an AFC championship or not. I don't think that is likely, but it is possible. But I will end by saying I celebrate the men that are over there. Wade will tell you this is the happiest day, not just because camp is over, because you got out of there alive and you're healthy. And then 2 weeks from now, you get to go earn and get that first paycheck. Players don't get paid till week 1. I mean, real money, that is.
Well, I'm in between both y'all, and so now I guess, okay, where do I stand? So you got the former player, Wade Smith, and then you got the exec on the internal side, Stan Norfleet. You know, so where does the guy that played football but didn't play it at the highest level, where do I feel about it? And this is how I feel, guys. I think that the third preseason game matters. Why? Well, we got an opportunity to see how Tommy T looks. Like I can't pronounce his last name at this time, so forgive me, but the interior defensive line. He played well today, right? So, you know, looking at him, comparing it to maybe who's in front of him because of age and because of his experience and years in the NFL, does his impact as a younger defensive tackle, can Houston get more out of him than the guy that may be in front of him right now? So you get those opportunities to get a last assessment, in-game assessment, which I think is important, on some of the guys that are roster. They're going to make the roster locks, but they can change pecking order. Perfect example is I'm going to go ahead and look at Woody Marks. Dameon Pierce had an opportunity to play today. Dameon Pierce hadn't had an opportunity to play in either of the first 2 preseason games. Limited practicing. Okay, well, how does Dameon Pierce look compared to a player in the rookie Woody Marks? And so should we look at maybe having Marks over Dameon Pierce in the running back pick order? I think especially for the first half, I think these last preseason games, traditionally, they have always mattered. But when I look at how it impacts the roster, this is a team that prides itself on special teams. This is a team that prides itself on depth. You know, okay, so the guys that have played today, no CJ Stroud, of course, but the 2 quarterbacks that played, Mertz and Slovis, okay, Houston can keep one of them or maybe on a practice squad or whatever the rule is. Who should be the QB3 going into the season and who should we move away from? The last preseason game gives Houston just one more final assessment on guys that are teetering on making the roster or not making the roster. So the last 40 to 53 players that will make the roster, that gives them an extra opportunity to see, should we pick a guy that maybe perform well, better than you, or should we keep you, but now we may not have you high up on the depth chart as we originally had? That's why I think the final preseason game is important, and I think it's important throughout the NFL. I don't think teams should disrespect and not take preseason seriously, which the Houston Texans did a better job this season compared to 2024, in my opinion.
Well, and if you love quarterbacks so much and you love the way that they played today, by the way, you could just be like the Cleveland Browns, who said they're going to keep 4 quarterbacks because that's very smart. They're not going to do that because the Texans are smarter than the Cleveland Browns. There's a reason why the Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns. In a serious note, on the running back side of things, the thing that stuck out to me, and this stuck out to me because, Wade, you brought this up a couple of weeks ago with the John Mechie stuff, and then look, boom, John Mechie was traded. You think Jordan was featured as much as he was today because you're going to have to move on from some of these running backs, and that's a guy that you could maybe get somebody to say, hey, I need a running back. I'll give you a 6th, 7th round pick for him.
I can't still think trading for Jordan.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking. I don't know what you would get back from Jordan, but if anything, it might be a Dameon Pierce that might be that person that could potentially get traded away because he has he has a history. He has a backstory. People have seen him play at a high level in this league, and then he's been injured, and then he went out there and played today, and he did well. He didn't. I think there was a little bit left out there for him to get some of those runs, but he did run well. He was getting 3-4 yards a carry. I think he had his longest was at like a 9-yard run, I think, at one point. So he looked solid out there. So if you got a solid Dameon Pierce, and he's healthy now, is that a potential situation where maybe he could possibly move? Now, the fact that we don't know what's going on with Mixon, I think that has everything to do with what's going to end up happening with Pierce. Like, if Mixon is not going to be ready for week 1 or week 2 or 3, then I don't see them getting away from Dameon Pierce. But if he is, then maybe there's an opportunity there for them to make a move. But Dameon Pierce, a guy like him, and Marks, of course, is going to be there. But the way that Marks plays also makes it kind of tenuous on what's going to happen with Pierce. I think there's a lot of other factors that are tying into what you're going to do with Pierce. But as far as Jordan, I just think he's a young guy that, if anything, they're going to try to figure out a way to stash him. But I don't see a way for him to make the 53.
No, I don't either. I also want to add to that. Woody Marks also got active in the passing game, but we got to look at the organization we're talking about too, man. This is an organization I think is, especially since Nick Caserio took over, they pride themselves in looking out for the players. Some of these guys are out there so they can get another chance with another of the other 31 teams in the NFL. So, we cover the Texans, so essentially our conversations are centered around how will a player impact the Texans long term. But this is also a perfect opportunity for some of those players to have some game tape to show, for their agent to show the other 31 teams in the NFL too.
That's reasonable, and that does happen inside the organization. I mean, you look at both Kenyon Green and John Mechie. Both of those guys had very soft landings, ironically being with the same team up in Philadelphia, but it's not like they cast them off to Cleveland or Charlotte, to the Carolina Panthers. So yes, D'Amico and Nick Caserio both believe in doing things that are in the best interest of the player, as long as it does not compromise what's going on with the immediacy of the program, as they call it. Now, I'm looking over here in the comments, and I'm so sincere says that Dameon Pierce was gone the moment they signed Chubb. That's just not true. I believe, and according to the reporting of Aaron Wilson from KPRC2, Texans Insider, I believe Joe Mixon is going to start the year on the reserve non-football injury list, which will sideline him for a minimum of 4 games. If that is indeed the case, then that means Chubb, Dameon Pierce, Woody, and Dare all are making the team. I believe a guy like Jawar Jordan, as well as a guy like British Brooks, those guys are practice squad candidates as they are eligible. I believe that's the immediate future for both of those guys. I fully expect the Texans, if Joe Mixon does land on that non-football injury list, I expect them to keep all 4 of those guys. Who's running back 1 in absence of Joe Mixon? The team has already told us that. It's Nick Chubb. And I would say, and John is getting ready to tell you in a minute why he think Woody Marks should be starting for this team. I vehemently disagree with that stance. I am not trusting C.J. Stroud to a rookie left tackle and a rookie running back. I'm not doing that. No. And quite frankly,
it would be different if they haven't shown you the ability to be productive and do what the team is asking of them.
With scrubs.
I've been big on, hey, running backs don't get paid to block. They get paid to run the ball. But in every preseason game, we've seen Woody Marks show the ability to be able to pick up some of those blitzes.
Was Aiden Hutchinson out there today?
Aiden Hutchinson was not out there today.
Then what are we talking about? Because
he was out there. What are you talking about? He was standing on the sideline.
Was Jared Verse out there today?
Jared Verse is not out there.
Then what are we talking about?
But we can only go based off of what we've seen. And if we're going to get a nod over to Ursery to be a starting tackle, I believe he should be a starting tackle.
Cam Robinson should be starting the left tackle for this team. Yeah, I said it, Wade. Cam Robinson should be starting. He was brought here to start. He should be starting.
We can We can take a quick timeout. We'll get Wade's thought on that. We'll continue. John's wanting Woody Marks to play more than anybody else. We'll do that here in a brief second.
Y'all want him to go to the Hall of Fame.
On a Locked On Texans Squad Show. Right now, though, I need to remind you guys, this episode's brought to you by Betterhelp. These days, it feels like there's advice for everything. Cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes. But how do you know what's actually working for you? With so much information online about mental health and wellness, it can be overwhelming to figure out what's true and what will actually help. That's where we are talking to a licensed therapist through BetterHelp can make all the difference. You get real, personalized guidance instead of guessing based on something you saw on social media. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. All right, the squad show rolls on here after the Texans take care of the Detroit Lions in the final game of the preseason. A little bit of revenge for last season, guys.
Oh,
you know, they went out there and avenged all those that blown. There was Wade. I think thinking back for last season, doing the shows with just Wade and I think that was the worst one we had to do. Wade, without a doubt, was that Lions game.
How frustrating was that game?
I mean, the first half of it, you thought that the Texans were a Super Bowl contender, and then I don't know what happened in that second half, but it was definitely frustrating. But I tell you what, that ain't the type of game that you get your lick back on.
No,
like you don't get your lick back on a preseason game, the third preseason game. But it sounds good in theory, but it definitely just don't hit the same.
Well, let's start it.
Hopefully they'll have opportunity. The Lions aren't on the schedule this year; they weren't last year, so
No.
hopefully they have opportunity when it counts the most. That would be I would pay the
big game.
See him in the Super Bowl.
That would be a great game to see.
Yeah,
That
we'll
would be a great
do
game.
we'll just do the post game show live from outside of the stadium there that night. All four of us just standing together on a cell phone.
Nah,
We should do
I'm
that.
definitely gonna be in the stadium.
I mean, I said no
But
after.
I'm saying, if you in the stadium, can it be? Are we in the stadium or?
No, well,
Hey, you got to pull some strings to get us in the stadium.
Come on,
And I
man.
can't
It's
make no
3
promises,
tickets.
You know
but I'm
people.
definitely gonna be in the stadium.
You know people.
I'm definitely not gonna be sitting at the crib watching that game. Sorry.
he'll be
I'm
with
not
his
mad at it.
Texans legends. Yeah.
Yeah, I will sideline.
Come on, get back to the argument. The
I mean, I
people-
can
All right,
cosplay.
all right.
I can cosplay Chester
She
Pitts. I
said she loves the energy when we get right.
So
I
the
kind of
big-
look like Chester Pitts a little bit. I think I can pull that off if I could just.
Chester
okay.
Pitts is far better looking than you, John, and I love you like a half cousin.
Shout out to my guy Chester, dog.
I tried.
I didn't realize he had a fan in you, MC. That's what's up.
Dude, Chester Pitts is the first Texan I ever met.
Oh, really?
He was. It was supposed to be Aaron Glenn that showed up at an Academy Sports and Outdoors back in the day for a meet and greet with Mark Vandermeer doing the emceeing of it, and Aaron Glenn couldn't show up, so they dragged rookie Chester Pitts out there. And Mark Vandermeer's got this whole crowd of people out there, and he's reeling off all these Texans trivia things, and I'm like 12 years old, and I'm raising my hand for every one of them, getting them right. And he stays like, okay, we have to stop letting the 12-year-old kid answer all the questions. Then Chester Pitts came up to me afterwards. He was like, that was impressive how much you know about the team. I was like, yeah, you know. So, yes, Chester Pitts' all-time favorite. I still have that hat. That's autographed.
Here right now.
Yeah.
All right,
I wish
so
Chester was here to tell you
because he would
nonsense about Ariante Erskine starting the left tackle.
that he would tell you that you're probably wrong. So let's start here. The biggest thing about the Texans in the offseason that we've talked about over and over and over and over, obviously the offensive line. Wade, you as the former offensive lineman, when you hear Stan has not been on board with Ursery being a starting left tackle. I think John and I are on the side of we're fine with it. What do you think? We'll start here with you on Ursery if we get to week 1 and he's starting left tackle.
I'm fine with it. And I think that's the way you go. And I understand the whole argument between a rookie and a veteran guy, but the veteran guy has not been here long enough to actually show that he's able to do it at the level that the rookie has shown that he's been able to do it. Cam Robinson does have a history of being a solid football player in this league, no question about that. But Ursery, what is he doing right now? What has he shown since he's been in this league? He's shown that he's got the right temperament. He's shown that he's going to do the extra work, and he's performed when he's got the opportunity to perform. And so if you've shown me that you can do it, then I'm going to let you go do it. And that's what he played left tackle in college. You know, the thing that we were kind of trying to figure out is could he do it on the right side? He did that at a high level when he was on the right side. Now, because of, certain injuries and guys having to be out for whatever reasons, and the emergence of Ed Ingram. Now you got Titus Howard over at the right tackle spot. He didn't lock that spot down. He's playing at a very high level at the right tackle spot. Ursery's got to play. He's played well since he's been on this roster. He's the future at the position. So why mess with that with a guy that is a veteran but has not been healthy and has not done it? You got a guy that's not going to have the timing. He's not going to have the repetitions with his left guard that Ursery has had. It just doesn't make sense. Like you don't play football on paper. You play football based off of what you have done and what you are doing. And so what Ursery has done and what he's doing shows me he's more prepared to play than Cam Robinson right now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, I'm more comfortable with Ursery than Cam Robinson. I don't know what I'm going to get out of Cam. He's coming off an injury. I don't know how healthy he is. I don't know. I've seen Ursery come out there and ball every time he's had opportunity to ball. So I'm going to stick with the rookie.
Stan, before you take it over, I do want to just kind of piggyback off that by saying we cannot underestimate how important it is to be out there with the person you'll be playing alongside consistently. And Cam Robinson hasn't been out there. You kind of got to know the guy's tendencies and what he's good at and what areas, I feel like, in my opinion, what areas you may need to make up for that player alongside of you, which is why I think Jake Andrews has been a better center than Jared Patterson and why he's won that starting job. But whether it's right or left, what we have to understand is losing Laramie Tunsil. Did you lose your best player, arguably, and the biggest talent on that offensive line? Yes. Ursery comes in. Is he the best player? Well, I'm going to say no because Titus Howard is there. But in terms of pure talent, he can be the player to replace that from Laramie Tunsil, what the Houston Texans lost because of talent-wise. So whether it's left or right, there is not.
I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm gonna give you a chance to think about what you just said.
There is not, based off of what I've seen since 2019 till now, based off of the players that are in that room right now, there is not a more talented offensive lineman in what they do than Ursery right now. He's not the best. He's not the best, but in terms of pure talent, it's Ursery. They have to have him out on the field. Whether it's right or left, they cannot afford to not have their best, the most talented player in their room on that offensive line, not on the field. They can't afford that.
John, you my man.
Titus Howard is extremely versatile. He can play
I rock with you, John.
Guard, tackle. John, he can play on the left side. He can play on the right side.
You've been over here in these comments. You getting the fandom. It's getting ahead of you. John,
I'm looking at feet work. I'm looking at hand placement. I'm looking at the ability to be able to be a stout run blocker. I'm looking at the ability to protect the quarterback. I'm looking at all of that, and I'm looking at the film coming out of college. In terms of talent, Ursery needs to be on the field. They can't afford for him not to be on the field.
Yes, they can, just like the other 2 second-round picks in Juice Scruggs and Blake Fisher that won't be on the field. Like, you brought okay, so let's address it.
If they were as talented as Ariante Ursery, whom a lot of scouts and executives said should have been a first-rounder, then we would not have a conversation about Ingram or Andrews or Thomason or at one point Trent Brown. We wouldn't have those conversations. And when he got out on the field,
y'all act like Ursery went to the Pro Bowl already. Stop this. The man has been in training camp.
No other offensive lineman on that line has been to the Pro Bowl as of right now.
I'm going to give Ursery his flowers. He has been productive when opportunity has called. I got no issue with the player. What we're talking about is who's the more productive, more proven commodity at the position of professional football left tackle. And I'm not a Cam Robinson stan, but he's a better left tackle than Ursery is. I understand Wade's point about timing and chemistry and who's been more productive. And I come to this point. In the D'Amico Ryans era, who have we seen get Wally pipped? I can't recall one. In fact, we've seen the contrary. EJ Speed has played better linebacker than Christian Harris this year, and EJ Speed can't crack the starting lineup because every time Christian Harris has a good day, he feels good getting out of bed, they put him out there on the practice field with the ones. So that tells us that DeMeco already knows that he's not going to Wally Pip guys. That's not the school of thought he comes from. Secondary to my Ursery point, again, I'm not disputing that Ursery has played good ball, but the plan wasn't for Ursery to start. That's not what they did when the Chargers took Joe Alt last year. They drafted Joe Alt to start. That wasn't the plan here. Cam Robinson was brought and signed in the immediacy of sending Laremy Tunsil in a trade to Washington. They brought him here to start. So then you can't convince me that just because we had a few training camp practices versus a bad Carolina Panthers team, albeit the Texas defense is good, you can't then turn around and tell me a Minnesota team that played their starters for 5 minutes, you can't then turn and tell me Cam Robinson didn't lose the job. So until Wade will tell you, in NFL, you got to come take the job. I don't believe Ursery has taken the job.
Well, but this has been a team that has echoed the importance of competition.
Where has somebody been Wally Pipped on this roster since DeMeco has been here?
I think it's different if some of those guys are already solidified, or if the offensive line has always been this offseason, we're going to let guys compete. We're going to pick the best and final 5. That's been their that's what they've been saying since day one. So, albeit Joe Alt being drafted to be the starter, Ursery being drafted to be a part of the competition, that they made known who wins the competition will be the starter. Cam Robinson ain't even been able to compete. So why would he get the edge over a person that's been competing and also looks damn good out there going up against the competition?
When they started training camp, who was the starting left tackle?
Excuse me?
When they started training camp, who was the starting left tackle?
Ursery was the starting left.
No, he wasn't.
No, I'm sorry. Cam was the starting left. Ursery was the starting right.
So if Cam Robinson was the starting left tackle and he lost the title by injury, he's now healthy. He practiced this week.
He practiced.
So what are we talking? And we got 2 weeks.
How do you know? But how do you know it was by injury? Maybe the Texans coaching staff is evaluating practice, what they've seen in the games, and they go, "This player is genuinely better than Cam Robinson." Why would that be a problem then?
Especially when they have been echoing all offseason, competition will tell us who we put
Coaches
out there.
lied. Surprise. Wait, tell this man. Coaches lie.
But can they afford to lie about a position that was so bad last year that they allowed nearly 60 unpressured, unblocked pressures? Go ahead.
There's a problem with your premise. You're making it seem that Cam Robinson in this case is Wally Pipp. But Cam Robinson has not done anything for the Houston Texans. Wally Pipp was a guy before he got his job took with that organization.
Right.
So Cam Robinson has not done anything yet.
So 8 years and 105 starts versus a rookie.
ADS with the Houston Texans. Ursery has done more with the Houston Texans than Cam Robinson has.
Because of injury.
Exactly.
That's not his fault.
And it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It is what it is.
Until somebody can show me.
Harris, you gave the example of Christian Harris. Harris was a damn good football player for the Houston Texans. Played at a very high level, and so that's where the Wally Pipp, it makes sense. Cam Robinson ain't did nothing for the Houston Texans yet. So you can't put him in that same category.
Okay,
he was a free agent that they signed off the street. Is that not true? Was he not a free agent that they signed off the street?
Yes, they signed him.
Okay, they signed him off the street.
For $12 million.
That's great. $12 million is $12 million. It's talking about left tackles.
I'm not saying it's
$25 million. We're not talking about $30 million.
I'm not saying it's expensive. What I'm saying is you and I both know the money in this league plays. You know this, Wade.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't always play.
99.9% of the time.
Can we not look at the money? Can we look at what we've seen on the film? This is an offense that when they've looked good, they've been able to establish the run. Am I right or wrong? When Ursery has been out there, we've talked about the numbers. When Ursery's out there, they can run behind him. He's been a productive at tackle,
against
but left
Minnesota's
tackle.
2s and a bad Carolina Panthers team, yes.
When he's out there, they've been able to run the ball behind him. He's also been able to protect the quarterback. When you look at Houston's problems last year, how many times was Joe Mixon hitting the backfield before reaching the line of scrimmage?
They were number 1 in the NFL.
Okay, when you look at the unblocked pressures alone, number 2 in the NFL unblocked pressures on CJ Stroud last year. So when the Houston Texans are evaluating and assessing what they should do at offensive line, because it is so important, because they were so bad at it last year, it's important for them to go off what they have seen. And through preseason and in training camp, looking at some of those practices, I've been there. Cam Robinson hasn't just been amazingly better than Ariante Ursher going up against Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. He has not. He hasn't. And the rookie's been able to show you can run behind him.
When they
It would be
started training camp,
malpractice. They would do
when they
CJ
started
Stroud a
training
disservice
camp.
if he's not out there.
Say this with me together. When they started training camp, who was the starting left tackle?
I just don't understand why that matters.
That doesn't matter, though. It really doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
It
It's
does
a
not
starting point.
So hold on. Y'all
It
want
does not matter.
How many? Answer me this question: how many second-round draft picks do they start the first day of training camp?
most of them?
That's untrue.
That's
Unless you're a
stop
bad
this,
team.
Wade.
If you're a bad team,
Wade, stop
yes.
this.
If you're a bad team, yes, you're right. If you're a bad team, yes. The Texans ain't that. The Texans ain't that. The Texans are not a bad football team. So bad football teams, the first day of training camp, the second round pick is starting.
When they were starting training camp, we would see CJ Stroud rotate in and out with other quarterbacks with the ones. Towards
Davis
the end of
Mills is
training
the guy.
camp, it was locked in. So like the start and where they are now is two different things because things have changed and they can only go based off of what they've seen. And to this point, there is not. I don't even want to use vulgar language. There is not. It would be malpractice if they don't put Ariante Ursher out on their field as a starter week 1. It'll be malpractice. It would be irresponsible of the Houston Texans coaching staff. Shout out to Cole Popovich, who's done a great job to
Deshaun
revamp this
Watson
team.
wasn't even a starter on his first training camp.
We
Like,
all
he
know
wasn't
the
starting
quarterback.
week 1.
Well, we all know. Yeah,
Position is different. We know.
that was also a head coach being a dummy.
Stop it.
But my whole point is that what you are on the day one does not matter. There's lots of reasons why they put somebody as the starter.
So let me
on
ask you
day
this.
one versus
Y'all, y'all believe if Cam Robinson had never been injured, y'all believe Ariante Ursher would have taken the job anyway?
No.
He would have been a starting right tackle.
He would have been a
Wait,
starting right tackle.
He would have been a starting right tackle.
I don't have an issue. I think he's a left. I've been saying he was a left, and voila, he's playing as left. Now, No Man Scott is over here in my comments pissing me off because there are people that are listening to me pontificate about Cam Robinson and his left tackle situation. I'm not saying Cam Robinson is good. I'm saying he's a better NFL left tackle than Ariante Ursher right now. Right now, week 1.
Don't know that.
In 2 weeks from tomorrow, when they got to go to Los Angeles and Jared Verse is screaming down the field.
Why?
Cam
Why do you
Robinson
say
is
that?
better.
We don't know.
Why do you say
we
that?
know that he has a better history at the position because
I've got
he's had
105 starts that tell me he's better.
And I got 2 teams betting him last year.
That he had more opportunities and he's done it in the past. But what is he now? I don't know how he feels right now.
You know what he is
moving
now?
right now?
He's
I haven't
$12
seen
million guaranteed to come be the left tackle for this team.
Real quick, where
do
we
you go from how he feels right now to money?
Where do you guys think?
Those are two totally different things.
Where do you guys think that ranks in terms of left tackle pay? Before we get our timeout, real quick.
No, it's towards the
It's
bottom.
probably like the bottom third.
Yeah,
it's 17. He's 17.
17.
So average.
Left tackle
He's
pay,
average pay at left tackle.
So before we move on, I have to say this. Because of number of starts, you are equating that to being a better player. We have all seen rookies come into the league and be immediately better than whoever's in front of them.
We've also seen rookies come into the league and bust. I'm not saying Ursher is a bust. Don't mistake what I'm saying. I'm saying that just because a dude is playing good football for a couple weeks doesn't mean he's better. Wade is going to tell you, in 2 weeks from now, Ariante Ursher is going to play in the fastest, most physical football game he's ever played in his life. He's going up against aliens in Los Angeles. And CJ Stroud's forehead and his vertebrae is at risk. Now, if y'all want to gamble and roll the dice on CJ Stroud's neck because y'all feel good about what a dude has done in 2 weeks, I'm not willing to do that. I'm going to put the dude that has proven on Sundays, even in the postseason, that he can handle the guys screaming off that edge. Now, I don't know that we have enough evidence for D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio, given none of us have seen anybody Wally Pipp before in this era. I think they're going to start Cam Robinson. Maybe I'm wrong. I do wish Ariante Ursary a very healthy and a very productive career. He is the future left tackle of this team. There's no doubt about that. Right now, game one, I'm trying to get to the damn Super Bowl. Cam Robinson, I believe, when healthy, gives this team the best chance to do that. They got to find somewhere else for Ursary to go.
Wait,
I think that the game plan that they're going to use against the Rams is tailor-made to what Ursary does best. They're going to run the ball at the Rams. They're going to do a quick passing game against the Rams. They're not going to put CJ Stroud in bad position. So the things that you're concerned about, I don't see them being an issue. I really don't. And
so everything's just going to be okay.
I do not know.
I do not know
what I have in Cam Robinson right now. I don't know.
What you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
We don't know.
If we would have known what they have in Cam Robinson, he would have not gotten traded out of Jacksonville.
I didn't say he was great. I said he's better than Ursary right now.
No. By your logic, Trent Brown should be starting over Titus Howard at right tackle.
Trent Brown hadn't been healthy.
Neither has Cam Robinson.
Now Cam Robinson is healthy.
It's been 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
No, I didn't see him. They in Detroit, and they don't let the damn media. You can't even.
Trent Brown's history is better than Titus Howard at right tackle. So based off of what you're saying, based off what somebody's done in the past, and not how they're feeling right now, they should play. No.
Now,
I don't agree.
Here's what I will say. Here's what I will say. If Trent Brown were healthy when he arrived here, coming off tearing his patella tendon, if Trent Brown were healthy when he arrived, he would be starting at right. Blake Fisher wouldn't have been starting at right to start camp, and Titus would be at right guard. So Trent Brown was brought here in principle to be the starter. He's just not healthy.
Right, exactly. But everything you have to go everything in context. And in context right now, Trent Brown hasn't been available. Cam Robinson hasn't been available, nor has he played in any of the preseason games. And
John
with
Hickman,
that being said,
good damn well a man with 105 starts in the NFL can get ready to play ball in 2 weeks. Wade knows that. So let's stop acting like missing training camp for Trent Brown and some big damn deal. Stop this.
This feels a lot like one of Wade's former teammates, Dwayne Brown, what he had to deal with his rookie season a little bit. You know what? There was a lot of people like Stan that didn't want Dwayne Brown out there. Said a lot of things.
And Ephraim's my guy. Ephraim's my guy, but you needed to play Dwayne.
Dwayne Brown was the first round pick, correct?
Late first round,
like 26 or something.
26, yeah.
Okay.
Not far off from where Ursary was picked.
Ursary was the 5th tackle taken.
Okay.
Right, but it was like 30 something, right? It was like 30.
He was taken at pick 48.
Oh, 48, okay.
So it was like 5 or 6 tackles taken before Ursary. And I'm not bagging on the kid. The kid has done everything they've asked him to do. This has got nothing to do with Ursary and something he's done wrong. The conversation is about organizationally, what are they going to do? And I just happen to disagree. We got 2 weeks to find out. It'll be fun having a conversation.
The question is, what's the right thing to do? Because sometimes the organization
right
and sometimes
is to protect CJ Stroud. That's what's right.
Right. And
who has a bigger, longer, recent track record of doing that? The guy
recently is Ariante
money at the left tackle spot.
I'll tell you this. I just went back and pulled the Dwayne Brown comparison real quick. Dwayne Brown was the 6th offensive tackle taken in that first round at pick 26. So there's that too. He's going to be Dwayne Brown at least.
If he's Dwayne Brown, the Houston Texans won. I'll tell you that.
Hold on, you think he's going to be as good as Dwayne Brown?
I don't know if he's going to be as good as Dwayne Brown.
I'm just saying. If he is, the Houston Texans they won.
I tell you what, they got similar temperaments. When I came across them and interacted with them, you kind of got that feel. So I'll say that. But he got to go out there and do it.
See, this is the world we live in, right? So if Ursary goes out there and gives up 2 sacks versus Jared Verse, you know what y'all gonna say? And people over here in my comments?
Nothing.
It's
a young player. He's got to get baptism by 5. It happens any given Sunday. If Cam Robinson goes out there and get beat, you know what y'all gonna say? Oh, they should have let Ursary go. Why is he out there? Like, come on, man.
Is Cam Robinson healthy? That's what's gonna be. That's what somebody with any kind of sense will say. Was Cam Robinson actually healthy enough to be out there? And then also, well, it was Jared Verse. What did you do to help slow down Jared Verse? Because those type of guys are game wreckers. There's not many guys in the league that shut down those type of guys. There's only like 1 or 2 guys that really consistently shut down those type of guys. One of them was here. He's not here no more.
No, well, I'm just simply acknowledging, like, a lot of time the truths that
MC
we
got to go
have
to
in
a break,
sport,
y'all.
huh?
MC has to go to a break.
The
I was
truths
just
that we
letting him
have in
get it all
sports,
out.
Let it out.
it's all about perspective, man. So look, we'll see what D'Amico and Casario decide to do. I understand that I'm in the minority, but my track record,
Track record.
You got it. You got
thank
it.
you,
Okay, man. That's okay.
has been all right with this team. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, we got more to get into. I want to take a look at roster predictions and whatnot, and what we think is going to happen. And we'll take our first little glance ahead the regular season. We'll do that here in a brief moment. Locked On Texans Squad Show. Before we do all of that, I want to remind you guys, football season's here. You know that because you're watching this show. This episode is brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy. It's the best time of the year, NFL kickoff. It's right around the corner. It means fantasy football back in full swing. Now's the perfect time to get in on Yahoo Fantasy. This year, Yahoo Fantasy is turning things up with a fantasy football experience like never before. To celebrate, I should say, 28 years of fantasy football greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days throughout August. To kick it off, it just dropped Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine Leagues, a killer new way to play fantasy football on Yahoo, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated each week until there's one team left standing. With the season just around the corner, now's the time to get your league together and give this new mode a try. If you're more into the classics, you can still play in the head-to-head private leagues or join a public league as well. Stay tuned for more killer announcements and start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now at yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. All right, the squad show continues. I need to bring the squad back in, though, because I didn't hit the right button. There they are. John is deucing on us for the rest of the show because he's got family stuff, but we appreciate him stopping by today on a weekend where, you got family stuff going on. Family's going to have to go to the side because football's coming, baby. Real football's coming, guys. Okay, real quick question to start for the both of you. Do you feel like they're ready for the regular season? What you see in training camp, preseason, do you feel good about this football team right now going into the regular season?
What does ready mean? Quantify that for me or qualify that.
Ready? Are they ready to go out and meet the expectations that you, the others have for this season? Do you feel like they are ready to go?
Initially, Wade, I had this team at 11-6. I've dropped that down to 10-7, largely because of Joe Mixon, and I do not think he's going to play the first 4 games. Do I think they're ready to go win, whether they have Joe Mixon or not? Did I have them winning week 1 at LA? No. I have not seen anything the last month that has pulled me off of that unless Stafford doesn't play.
That's important.
Even if he plays, don't you feel pretty good about them, that defense doing something to probably make his life hell to where that back's probably not feeling too great?
Yeah,
I think it makes your back feel better when you can throw to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams.
Yeah. I like those 2 receivers, but I like the DBs that match up with them. I just really like what the Texans have going on the defensive side of the ball. The biggest thing is offensively, can they control the line of scrimmage? Can they not turn the ball over? That's how you're going to go out on the road and win a game in LA. But are they ready? I think they're ready. Are they ready to win a Super Bowl right now? No, they still got to build. They got to put some more pieces together in order to be at that point. And there's a lot of games that got to be played before you get to that level. But are they the team that's the favorite to be the AFC South champion again? Of course. I haven't seen anybody around that makes me nervous about that part at all. But we're all at the point where we're trying to take the next step into where you're playing the AFC champion games, you're playing the Super Bowls. How healthy can the team stay? How healthy can they stay at key positions? That's going to be the thing that's going to determine how far the Texans go. So are they ready? Yeah, they're ready for week 1, and it's going to be a hell of a challenge. But I like the matchup for the Texans. I know Stan said 11-6. I think I had them at 12-5 before Mixon got hurt. Now since Mixon is, we don't know if we go off of Stan's report. You got him out for 4 weeks.
That's Aaron Wilson.
I'm repeating what you repeated.
Right.
But if that's the case, then yeah, I can see the drop down to 11-6, maybe a 10-7. But that when Mixon was first on this roster, when I was making the prediction of 12-5, Nick Chubb wasn't on the roster. Rudy Marks. We hadn't seen what we could see out of Rudy Marks. I like the way Darius running this offense. I like what I see. I've seen what I've seen out of Dameon Pierce today, and I think there was more out there for him to get, but I still think this offense fits him very, very well, the way that they do things. So I don't see it to be in that drastic of a drop-off to where you're losing 2 games more than what initially you might have thought because Mixon isn't there. Because I think what you've seen out of the offensive line has been better than anybody expected at this point. Coming into this, before you making these predictions, a lot of people were very, very down on what the offensive line could do. What I've seen from them, where it comes from, training camp practices, dual squad scrimmages, preseason games, the offensive line is functioning at a higher level. They're communicating better together. They're working as a team, working as a unit better than anybody thought coming into the season. You got to give a lot of credit to Cole Popovich and their offensive line group for exceeding expectations. Now they got to take another step when it matters. And so we'll see how it looks when the lights come on for real. But as of right now, I think they're ready to go.
So, Mike, ask yourself this. Ask yourself this, and this is really for you too, Wade. And for the folks over there in the comment section, I'm so sincere, it's pissing me off. Third Coast Sports TV is not a fan of mine. That's fine. He'll be all right. There's some other people over there that aren't a fan of mine, like I give a damn. All right. The real question is this. The Texans must be honest, and the fan base, as difficult as it may be, must be honest with where you are. The goal is the Super Bowl, period. Got to get to the AFC Championship game to do that. There are a couple teams, about 3-4 teams standing in your way of doing so. Michael, Wade, have you seen anything in this camp that makes you believe this team is better than the Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens?
No, I don't think that there's anything that you can go away from camp and preseason saying that you feel that, because I've barely seen I personally haven't been to practices. I've seen the starters for 2 drives in a game, so I can't sit here and tell you anything that they've done is like. I'm intrigued. I'm optimistic. Wade, you've seen more. What do you think?
I look at it like this. Those 3 teams you mentioned, there was only one of those teams that it looked like it was a mismatch when they played last season. When they played the Ravens, it looked like two totally different levels of teams. But when they played the Kansas City Chiefs, to me, the Texans played better than Kansas City at their place in the playoffs. There were some things that went on that made that game not go in the Texans' favor, and it wasn't necessarily talent or ability or how they performed. So that's that. So have they improved to where I say, like, Kansas City doesn't scare me the way maybe.
It's not about being scared, Wade. You know this. It's about.
But what I'm saying is this. I don't think that Kansas City is the team that people make them out to be sometimes. That's important. It's important to have that thought process and understanding when you're lining up and play them. I've seen out of to me, the team to beat in the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens. To me, that's the team to beat in the AFC. And it's going to be about matchups. Who ends up playing who? Because if the Ravens play, if you have to go to Baltimore and play the Ravens in the second round, I'm not too excited about that matchup. I'm not excited about that. But if you're playing Buffalo in the second round of the playoffs, wherever you play that game, hey, put the ball down. Let's go.
Okay,
So
let's use some deductive reasoning here. The Texans are a field goal underdog on the road week 1 at the Rams. All right.
Correct.
If this game were at Baltimore, we all would pick them to lose. If this game was at Buffalo, we all would pick them to lose. If this game was at Kansas City, we all would pick them to lose. Vegas would too.
Vegas to me is
like
the
there's no
hard one
hate in just acknowledging that is the fact.
I mean, like I get the I don't know. The Vegas thing is always, it's fun to go to, but like it's just people betting their money. That's where the line sits. I understand that, the line.
Vegas is
going to be
right
based off of history. It's going to be based off of those type of things, not necessarily of what's going on right now with the roster and the organization. So that's just a line. But you're not incorrect at all. You're correct. All of those games, the Texans would be the underdog. But I have a lot more confidence in certain games than other games. I have more confidence against the Rams and against the Bills and against the Chiefs than I do against the Ravens right now. I haven't seen the Texans compete with the Ravens in years.
I don't
It's
care
been
about
years.
competing. I care about wins and losses. And there are two teams that these Texans have not beaten. They're 0-2 versus Kansas City, and they're 0-3 versus Baltimore. So to me, Kansas City is lumped in with Baltimore from that standpoint. The good
but
news,
they beat Buffalo, though. They beat Buffalo.
they beat Buffalo
They
here,
beat the backside
Yeah, they
off
beat them.
Buffalo.
but we also know the likelihood.
Buffalo wouldn't scare me even on the road.
That's what I'm saying. That's
now
what
they
I'm
should.
They don't do it to me.
They
They
should.
don't. They don't.
They should.
I don't know why.
That's an excellent football team. Excellent. Now they got
Damn good
weaknesses.
football team.
Every
It's a
team
damn
does.
good football team.
But
Every
it's
team
like-
everything, you're
so
right.
the beauty is the game is not played on paper, as Wade said earlier. They got 2 weeks to get ready for a playoff team out on the West Coast.
Mhm.
And do I think they're ready? I'm not gonna say they're ready because Joe Mixon isn't in the lineup. But are they? Do I leave training camp going, Stan? Do you still have the same concerns you had going into camp? The offensive line has looked better than I thought it would, and they got off to a real shaky start. It sucks not having C.J. Gardner-Johnson out there. I thought this had a chance to be arguably the best defense in the league. They still can be because it looks like he's going to return. Apparently, he's doing some workouts on the sideline up in Detroit and things of that nature, so that's cool. I don't believe a defense can win you a Super Bowl in today's football. It's been 11 years since that has happened in the Legion of Boom for somebody not coached by Bill Belichick. So it's been a while.
Okay.
You got to score points.
That was a good caveat right there.
Yeah, you got to
I
score
remember
points.
that Rams game. That was pretty
Do
good.
I have some concern about this team scoring points? Yes. I do. The way they want to dink and dunk and the way they want to run the football, and it looks like it's going to be rushed by committee, I don't know that that's going to yield more points on the board. And now this defense is having to go play lights out, and it just puts a lot of pressure. And 17 weeks is a long time for your defense to have to carry that much water.
Here's where I get optimistic. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. I watched, obviously we watched all 3 preseason games, and it is a new offense, and we only got 2 series out of the starters out of it. But for it being, we probably all guess overall on the vanilla flavor of things in the preseason because you don't want to show too much, right? I go into the season optimistic with the play calling from the standpoint of I think they're going to play fast. That's something I've wanted out of the football team forever. They just always play so slow. And I think there's something to having pace. And I don't think that there's anything wrong.
What do you mean specifically?
Getting to the line, running plays, quick outs, doing all those things that what we do in football today in 2025. I think that the Texans have not done that forever.
That's not fair. At Indianapolis, the first play from scrimmage, CJ throws a 75-yard touchdown to Nico.
That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting the ball out quick, doing those things that
you're
other
saying
teams
operationally you want them to speed up.
I'm talking about operation. I'm talking about the calls where they're throwing these quick outs, these quick screens. They're doing these things to get the running backs involved in the pass game, all those things. That's where I'm optimistic. I don't know. I feel like I watched an offense in the preseason that looks more modern than it does in the past. Am I wrong there?
I don't know that I don't think Slowick isn't here because it didn't look modern. And I understand your point, Mike. I'm being a little bit of a bleep hole, but to me, Kaylee says he's going to structure the offense for the personnel that they have. From day one, I have questioned if the offensive personnel is enough. Even with a healthy Joe Mixon, I have been concerned, given the recent history, the injury concerns with Nico a little bit, but more so Christian Kirk the last 2 years. And then to put that pressure on 2 rookies from Iowa State, I thought was a lot. Do I come out of this camp going, they're going to score more points because the offense than I thought they would have going in? I don't. Is the operation cleaner? Yes. Are the plays coming in and the structure of the offense and CJ making checks and the offensive line's protection and the aggressiveness in the run game and the utilization of the tight ends? All of that stuff is cool. The end result needs to be you have more points on the board than the opposition. I still leave going, there's a little bit left to be desired on that offense for me. Wade, what say you?
I mean, it's the offense going into the season is not more talented than the offense was going into last season.
I agree.
Period. I mean, when you look at the receiver position, you had Stephon Diggs, you had Tank Dell, you had Nico Collins. You had a 3-headed monster. But those guys got hurt. All of them took turns of getting hurt.
Yeah.
And you cannot prognosticate seasons off of injuries. You got to prognosticate off of, if everyone is healthy, all things being equal, this is what's going to happen. I feel like looking at the people that they have on the roster, the offense is enough to get it done. The defense is enough to get it done. I'm a little nervous about the special teams more than anything. I'm not talking about all the special teams, but the operation on the field goal team, where you got a deep snapper that 3 times had bad snaps.
Yeah, that looked
when
bad.
You have things that should be automatic, they're not automatic. That concerns me. But the actual players that are out there, what they've shown and their abilities, I think they can get it done with C.J. Stroud as your starting quarterback. I think C.J. Stroud can win a Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl caliber wide receiver. I think Nico Collins is a number 1 on a Super Bowl caliber team. I think Christian Kirk is a slot receiver on a Super Bowl caliber team.
If he's healthy, yes.
But that, to me, that goes without saying, because everybody deals with injuries. Everybody deals with, and if sometimes you just get unlucky. I lived that firsthand for a couple years. I know what that's like, but you can't control that. You can't control that. And I'm not going to make predictions based off of these guys getting hurt. I do know that there's more depth at a lot of positions than what I've seen in years past. There's not as huge of a drop-off as what I've seen in years past. So that will translate that hopefully if you lose some of your top guys, it's only for a short period of times, and you can tread water. You can toe the line while those guys are out until they come back, because there's no unhealthy teams winning Super Bowls. It don't work that way. Not at key spots. So that part, it kind of goes without saying.
I think the special teams element that I feel the best about that I ever have in the D'Amico Ryans, Nick Caserio era, I'm very excited about Braxton Berrios being back there and potentially a healthy Dameon Pierce from a kickoff return standpoint. I think the return game is as explosive as it's ever been. So there will be a game or two, as has been the case the past 2 years, where D'Amico with special teams is going to have to put some points on the board in the return game. So I feel very good about where they are from that standpoint. I don't have an issue with Kymie Fairbairn's his productivity, but they got to get that long snapper thing cleaned up and the holding thing cleaned up, so to speak. So
John Week should still be here. We all know that. That why he's not here makes no sense still.
Yeah, don't know about that.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. If it ain't
I'm going to give them an objective and subjective opportunity to go prove. I think they're a 10, 11 win team. Maybe they're better than that, but maybe they're worse than that. I don't know. But I don't leave camp with as many question marks as I had going in. The defense, legit, lights out. Defense going to be ready to rock. C.J. Stroud, I hope him and Kaylee are on the same page. The desire to run the football is one thing. You got to go line up for 65 snaps and make a grown man go in a direction his body doesn't want to go. We'll see if they can do that for 17 weeks. I have not seen the Houston Texans do that consistently since being back in Houston the last 2 seasons. Maybe this is the year. The personnel up front, more depth. I agree with everything Wade had to say. I'm excited about it, which is why I picked them to win the division. I picked them to win a playoff game. But if you ask me right now, can I predict that this team will go on the road in the division round and win a road playoff game at Baltimore, at Kansas City, at Buffalo, at Cincinnati? All of those teams have gone further than the Texans ever have. No, I can't do that right now.
Well, then you better get home field advantage.
Yeah. And I think so Wade, I'm glad you said that, Mike. Wade, and I know the people over here in the comment section saying I'm a hater, which is funny. I philosophically, and I'm curious where you are, I philosophically disagree with how they built the program. I told them they should take C.J. Stroud when everybody was talking about Bryce. Stroud was the better prospect. I was right. Now, people won't remember that, but that's fine. I'm not saying that they've selected the wrong players per se. I'm saying this team should be built on the offensive side of the football and let D'Amico coach up the defense. I don't know that they're going to score at a high enough clip to keep up with everybody else. But they've gone all in defense. What do you think about that?
He doesn't.
What's your question?
Like, do you think this team should be skewed more offense than defense? It appears that the emphasis in terms of how they built it has been on defense.
I don't know if I can agree with that. I think that they've done a better job of identifying guys that work with what they do on defense than they have in offense. But as far as investment in them, I think the investment in the two sides have been pretty similar. Like you're talking about high draft picks, you're talking about money spent, all those type of things. I think the guys that they have invested in on defense, DeMeco knows exactly what he wants, what he needs, and they've been on the same page and they've hit on those guys. I think the problem has been offensively, you had one philosophy, and some of the guys, they had leftover guys, and they brought in guys that didn't necessarily fit with what was going on, and then they had coaches that weren't able to coach up what they were trying to do. They just wasn't on the same page offensively, and it's harder to do when you don't have an offensive head coach that knows I need this, and this for this to work, and these type of players for this to work. I think it's been easier. You're seeing an easier transition and an easier execution of it on the defensive side of the ball because DeMeco was an expert on defense. So, but I can't say that they've invested more on defense than they have on offense, because if you just look at it, I mean,
who's making the most money on offense? Nico?
Pure money, real quick. Offense is 123 million. The defense is 138. Now that does come with a caveat that just guaranteed Daniil Hunter a huge amount of money that bumped it way up. So like,
right. But what was it last year?
What was it last year?
Was on the roster.
Yeah, so you got Tunsil on the roster. You had Steph Diggs on the roster.
Those guys are gone now, so it's screwed back the other way. But they invested very, very heavily.
But that's my point, Wade.
They just didn't do a good enough job of executing. So I don't think philosophically they're putting more eggs in one than the other. I just think they did a better job on one side than the other.
So hear me out. The NFL Network, NFL.com rather, just released, I think they did one, and CBS Sports did something very similar, where they ranked wide receiver duos. And the Texans weren't even honorable mention. So like last year, when week one came last year, and they tried it out, Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz, a healthy Tank Dell, Steph Diggs, and Nico with CJ, I said, that's a Super Bowl offense. With Laremy Tunsil at left tackle, that's what it should look like. It doesn't look like that this year. So when I say the investment, I go, okay, you got Christian Kirk, but knowing that Tank Dell probably won't contribute this year, and it'll be late if he does, and I sincerely hope that he does. I needed more firepower, and I haven't seen them go get, like, I'm sorry. Christian Kirk has played in one game the last 2 years after December 1st. One. So I can't count that as reliable. Nico Collins misses games every year. So when they, like, I needed them, what they did last year, Wade, on offense, go do that again. And two rookies from Iowa State in the second and third round, respectfully, don't do it for me. They needed more.
I'm not going to disagree. That
Iowa State won today, by the way. Number 22 ranked Iowa State, high-ranked team, wins again. What a shock.
Yeah. All I know is this. Last year they had all those guys, and then what did the offense look like overall as a group? Those guys got hurt.
That guy got hurt.
And so those things you can't control. What you can control is, all right, because how do you go from a healthy Stephon Diggs going into this season to, all right, we're going to move on from him because he got hurt last year? Who's going to come in and replace him and be that level of guy when they're healthy?
This is what I'm saying.
On the roster, like who was out there to go get?
I know a guy. His name is Steph Diggs. Have you seen his training camp? He looks pretty good. So listen, if let's just say this: if Tank Dell were healthy, and they went and got these two receivers from Iowa State, and Stephon Diggs was back on a 1-year prove-it deal, I would feel better.
I'm sure you would, but you should feel better on paper. But in reality, all those guys you named got hurt recently. So the same reason why you're talking about, you're worried about Christian Kirk, you're worried about Nico Collins, you should still be worried about. I'm worried about Stephon Diggs right now. Like, dang, I hope he can go out there and stay healthy and ball, because when he's healthy, he can ball. And I'm hoping Tank Dell can come back, because when he comes back, he can ball. but they've shown that they haven't been able to stay healthy. But you can't. Where is the fun for like prognosticating that these guys gonna get hurt, so we're not gonna be good?
Listen.
I can say that for every team in the league.
Yep.
Every team in the league. If Pat Mahomes goes out, Chiefs gonna be trash.
But what has Pat shown us?
They're gonna be trash.
What has Pat shown us? Every Sunday,
he
goes
gets
out there.
Well, yeah.
That
He's also
that he gets calls, that they changed the rules because he was cheating last year, and they changed the rules because he was doing it too much.
Please
get him, Wade.
Not on
Get him, Wade.
Wade, you on some
BS? I had to get it out before the season started. We ain't gonna talk about Pat Mahomes again until I don't know when. So I had to get it out. They changed
week 14.
He was cheating last year, and that's the reason why they won that game against the Texans, the team that you said can't compete.
Wade,
you watched the game. You watched the game last year.
Wade.
Pat Mahomes didn't win that game for him by doing that fluke stuff.
Wade. Patrick Mahomes will go down as the greatest quarterback we've ever seen.
I understand.
You know this.
I understand that. What's your point?
He's got a long.
I'm talking about that game.
I'm talking about the totality of Pat Mahomes.
I'm just talking about that game.
I'm not taking that.
Pat Mahomes gets hurt a lot.
He's out there.
But he goes out there, right? But if he ain't got that weapon, maybe he's not the same guy. Maybe he can't get away with those things. Maybe not. We don't know. But he always has an ankle.
Oh, yeah, he stays with that ankle.
Maybe when we play the Chiefs, he got an ankle again.
Maybe.
We don't know. Maybe.
So, look.
That's why they play the games. That's the fun.
Coming out of camp, what's your – Mike, I know you're trying to get out of here. My biggest concern breaking camp of the whole overall thing we're talking about, other than the running back room without Joe Mixon, this cornerback number 3. If something happens, because I thought about it, we're talking about missing games. If Stingley, who played all 17 last year for the first time in his career, and I hope this is not the case, but if Stingley or Lassiter missed some games last year, I'm concerned about that second cornerback. Jalen Smith appears to be developing. But again, when the goal is to get to the Super Bowl, I need you to be outstanding. And I just look at that third cornerback and go. So I asked that on the way out. Wade, Michael, for y'all, what is the remaining question mark outside of Joe Mixon?
I'll let Wade finish it real quick, so I'll just go I do agree that it's the cornerback, the defensive backs, but I would be shocked if there's not an addition to this team from the outside, that from somebody that's either getting traded or cut. That's just corner? That's just my thought right now. Wade?
Yeah. To me, that's my thing is what scares me the most is if a guy like Nico Collins goes down. That's what scares me the most.
You just had that. No. You were saying
what scares me the most. You asked me the question, what scares me
and
the
your
most.
2 Iowa State receivers and my man Hutch that's been kicking ass this camp.
Yeah, he looks good, but none of those guys are the guy. And Nico is the guy. Yeah, he was disrespected a minute ago. I saw somewhere where they had like the top 10 receivers in the league, and then I don't mention he wasn't even on the list.
I saw that.
Some people don't know what the hell they talking about.
Yeah,
even though they talk about things. Nico Collins is a top 5 receiver in this league.
Top 5?
Top 5.
Woo!
Top 5.
Woo!
When he's on the field.
Woo!
He's leading the league in receiving yards per game last year.
He was leading the league last year.
Woo!
Then he came back and he still ended up like top 10. He missed like 5-6 games. Did he miss like 5 games last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nico missed.
It was like 5 games last
3
year.
games, maybe? I'm not sure. I have to look it up.
Yeah, I think it was 5. But anyway, I think he's a top 5 receiver. I got Justin Jefferson ahead of him. I got Jamar Chase in front of him. I got
Jefferson, Chase, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, he missed 5.
Toss up. CeeDee and Nico's a toss up. It's a toss up.
Puka Nacua.
Nico's better than Puka.
If I'm picking teams, I want Nico over Puka. Be honest with you. If I'm picking teams, give me Nico.
I would too.
Bigger target. He's better.
The question isn't what you prefer. The question is who's been a better player.
Oh, Nico's been a better player than Puka Nacua.
Last year, Puka had less yards than Nico, if I'm not mistaken. About
he missed more games.
He missed
6 games.
That was the year before that. That wasn't last year. Last year he missed.
Yeah, last year Puka Nacua only played 11 games, had 990
yards. Yeah, he missed some time last year.
He was on the sideline. I think he started the year nicked up.
Yeah. So give me Nico. Like I said, there's not a lot of guys that I can just rattle off that's better than Nico Collins. To me, that's the biggest concern. is if he goes down. And it would be similar on the defensive side of the ball if either Lassiter or Stingley goes down. Because all three of those guys are top five, not Lassiter, I wouldn't say he's top five, but he plays like it. You can't give him that crown, but he plays like it. You see what I'm saying? When he gets opportunities, he makes plays like it. But Stingley is a top 2 corner in the league.
Agreed.
Nico's a top 5 receiver in the league. So you lose guys like that. I mean, what, you gonna give him a 7? Don't give him 9 or 10. I'll take a 7, but don't give him 9 or 10.
He's definitely in the top 10.
Yeah, so I mean, those guys, that's what scares me the most. Losing those particular guys. But besides that, I think everyone else, besides of course the obvious of CJ Stroud, but even then,
Davis look good.
He's been looking good, man.
He look good. They can win games with Davis being the quarterback.
They can get you through a couple games. That's what you need out of your backups. Can they get you through a few games? So I think this team is just overall is solid. It's solidly built. In some of the spots where you really had the most concern, they've shown a lot of progress at the offensive line spot this offseason. And all you can do is go off of what you've seen. And you didn't see this last year. With all that investment, all that draft capital, all that money in that offensive line position last year during offseason, you didn't see them play the way this group that they put together has played. So there's something to be said for that.
Chemistry is a real thing. I just think that chemistry has not truly been tested. Now, they're going up against one of the best defenses in the league every day in practice. But you know, like I know, Wade, you got to be careful in high-level football not to practice against your own team. Meaning, I know here comes the spin move by Daniil. So instead of executing your technique, you're just trying to block the spin move by Daniil instead of executing the technique that you're going to see that week in the game. So you just have to be mindful, and coaches have to stay on top of you. Like, stop trying to be a practice superstar and get ready for the upcoming week. So we'll find out when the bullets start flying for real against the LA Rams, because they're coming. Rams are a good outfit. Sean McVay has done an excellent job since he's been at the helm. We'll see what Stafford's health is. I just think, again, there are question marks, but every team has holes. I'm curious. The thing I'm waiting most to see, I want to see C.J. Stroud cover up some of these holes. Can he elevate his game like all the great ones do and mask some of the deficiencies on this team? Mahomes does it. Lamar does it. Like all the great ones, they do it. So I need to see 7 raise his game too.
Well, MVP season, Super Bowl run coming. It is guaranteed at least 20-point win week 1 against the Rams on the road.
20?
Yeah, at least 20. They're gonna give them the belt, as my nephews would like to tell me. All right, guys. It's been a great show. Great energy for a third preseason game. We're gonna keep that energy alive for the regular season as well. Make sure, of course, you're subscribing to this YouTube channel if you are new here, and make sure that you come back. We are live when the game's in. This show is also live on Tuesdays at 6, sometimes 6:30. Schedules get a little wonky sometimes, but we'll be here Tuesday again. Join us on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. For Wade and Stan, I'm Michael. We'll talk to you all again Tuesday after or getting ready for the regular season.